Welcome back to Trophy Central. Yes, it's me again, the Gobby Gaffer, back in my office here at AFC Fylde, and got a couple of new photographs framed of the trophies that we won last season. It was a great season last season, but, you know, we move on. All of that's in the past. We need to move on. National League now, more challenges ahead. It's been a very busy summer. There's been lots of ins and outs, lots of things happening. So let's get stuck straight into it, shall we? No hesitation. We've got a lot to get through. So the first thing I want to show you is the staff screen. There's been lots of comings and goings, staff-wise. Brought in quite a few new coaches. At least 4 of the coaches that we had were out of contract at the end of last season. So I brought new coaches in to replace them. Better coaches. As you can see now, we are still number 1 for every coaching category now in the National League, which is some going really, because we've stepped up a level, but we've still got all the best coaches, which is great. You know, hopefully that will, you know, we'll see that in the results. I've asked for more coaching staff, recruitment staff and medical staff. I've got the odd one here and there, but they're very reluctant to spend too much money at this stage. So we have got 1 or 2 new extra. Scouting, again, got rid of a few scouts, brought a few new ones in. I think as we saw last season, the scouts that I had weren't great. So, I mean, a good example is Rasulo. That he was scouted at something like a 3-star with the potential to be 5. And now I think he's a 2.5 star with the potential to be maybe a 3.5 star. I know we've stepped up a division, but I was signing Rasulo with the National League in mind. Now I've had to sign better players than that. So Rasulo is either going to have to, you know, be content with a place on the bench, brought on now and again, or be sold off. It's a fact of life. You know, we're now in a better division and we need better players. So anyway, and I've beefed up the medical staff as well. So we're not quite top of the shop in the National League for medical staff. But at the moment, I'm not allowed to add any more physios. I mean, I brought in a new head of sports science. So we're doing okay, but, you know, these 2 need a little bit more work, but it's whether the budget will allow us to have some more staff. Chairman inputted some money to boost the finances. Now, I have spent some money. In fact, I've made Fylde's record signing, £250,000 for a player. He's only just come in the last few days, so the chairman did bring some money in. But we've still got 540,000 in the bank, and that will be dictated by season ticket sales and attendances. Because if we can fill the ground every week, then, you know, this budget will tick over nicely. Unfortunately, last season we didn't get that. Now I think we are guaranteed to get a few more spectators through the door. If we just look at this email that I had through, so on the 30th of July, the club had sold 1,575 season tickets. So assuming that all those season ticket holders come to every game, then we're going to get more supporters than we did last season. Our average attendance last season was probably about 1,200. That included all the casuals and all the rest of the customer base. So maybe this season we might be looking at attendances of 2,500, which still isn't great, but, you know, it's better, isn't it? It's progress. So I just had the new club vision through from the chairman, and the important points of it are that he wants to finish in mid-table in the Vanarama National, which I think is very achievable, particularly with the players that we've signed. Wants to reach the FA Cup proper and reach the latter stages of the trophy that we actually won last season. I mean, given that we're in a higher division now and we have better players, we won it last season. So, I don't know, can we win it again? That would be very nice. Anyway, I know what you're all saying. Right, ins and outs. Let's have a look at the transfer. So, apart from the £250,000 signing that we made, all the players that have come in, remember I had no wage budget, and to sign that player I had to shuffle the wage budget around a little bit. But all the signings that I've made, now I've made quite a few to be fair, they've all come in on a free transfer. So we picked all these players up for nothing, basically. So the first one is we were a little bit light on the right side. We've got a couple of players in there, young players, who I think will come good, but we needed a little bit more experience over there. So we signed 26-year-old Barbadian Tafari Moore, and he's coming in as a wing back. He's now valued at between 35 and 65,000, coming at a 3-star with the potential to be 3.5. So he's a little bit older, a little bit more experience in that defence, and stats-wise, he's for this level, he's okay. So if you remember in the middle of the park, the two mainstays last season were Weston, who was bobbing on a little bit in age, and he left at the end of last season. Not sure if he actually retired. One or two players actually did retire. The goalkeeper retired, so we needed a new goalkeeper anyway. I mean, I was going to sign one, but he retired, so that worked out quite well. So anyway, in the centre of the park, we had Weston, whose contract ran out and he was getting on a little bit. Ariti, who was absolutely amazing, but if you remember, I messed up a little bit with him. Somebody nipped in and signed him on a free transfer, so we lost him as well. So I've had to bolster midfield, so quite a lot of the signings I've made have been midfield players. And the first one is Romain Mundle, 20-year-old English lad. He's coming on a free, now valued between 18 and 200,000. It's coming as a 3.5-star with potential to be 5. Again, stats look really, really good. Can play Mazzala, advanced playmaker attacking. Another good signing. Next one in is a Craig Tanner, 28-year-old, bit more experience again. Trying to get a balance in the team between experienced players, but we've got some really those. If you remember those 3 or 4 lads I brought in from the Premier League youth teams who have got amazing potential, but they do need some experience around them. So I brought up Craig Tanner in, 28-year-old, again coming on a free, worth between 9,000 and 95,000. He's only classed as a fringe player. He's 3-star, not really going to get any better, but he has got some really good pace, passing ability, technique. You know, he's got some quite good skills there, and we've got 3 players now who can play that right winger stroke. He's left-footed, so when he's playing, he's going to play as an inverted winger. But some nice cover there for that right-hand side. Moving up front, now we all remember Sharman from last season. I keep saying Sharman, it's Charman actually, CH, isn't it? Yeah, Charman from last season scored 51, 53 goals, can't remember. I mean, I lost count in the end. What an amazing player. We didn't have an awful lot of backup though. I brought Felivi in. This goes back to the scouting that we had at the time, who they were rating him as a 5-star player with potential to be 5-star. And he's come in and he's okay, but he's quite injury prone. As soon as he came in, he did some really serious damage to himself, and he was out for most of the end of that season. We had a young kid in there who have actually decided to sell. So I brought in, now I've had dealings with Charlie Brown before, and he was an absolutely amazing player for me. So I brought him back in again. 23-year-old Englishman, and he's coming on a free. He's now worth between 22 and $250,000. 22,000 to $250,000. It's coming as a 3.5-star with the potential to be 5. Now, believe me, Charlie Brown knows how to put that white round thing between the 2 white sticks. And if he doesn't score a bag full of goals this season, I suppose my dilemma is going to be playing with one striker. I'm going to have to alternate them, probably. So, is Charman going to score another 50-odd goals? Probably not, because Charlie Brown, if he's not in the team, he will be whinging. Might play 2 strikers sometimes. I don't know. But if you look at his pace, 14 for pace, 14 for acceleration, 12 for finishing. I mean, believe me, Charlie Brown, it's another one of those eat my hat situations. I shouldn't keep promising this, but I'll eat my hat if Charlie Brown doesn't score a lot of goals in the National, seriously. And if we do get promoted, he's also won for Sky Bet League 2 as well. Back into midfield now, and we have 22-year-old Elijah Dixon Bonner. Bit of a mouthful that. I think we'll have to be abbreviating his name. But so he's come in as on a free. He's now worth between 90,000 and 170,000. Coming as a 3-star with the potential to be 4. And again, if you look at his stats for this level are really, really good. And I think he's another one who could take us into Sky Bet League 2 as well. Now, as I spoke about before, Neil, the goalkeeper, he decided to retire. We have got the young lad Ackers in there who's got the potential to be 5-star, but he is only 18, 19, and don't really want to push him in as a first choice keeper. Goalkeeping, very specialised. You really need some experience between the sticks. So with that in mind, I signed 26-year-old Harry Isted, and he's come in on a free. He's now worth between 8,000 and 45,000. He's a 3.5-star with the potential to be 4. And again, like I say, he's a really big upgrade on Neil, and he's there for for the future. But Ackers will be blooded in to come in behind him as well. So we've got a really good experienced keeper and a young kid who's got really good potential behind him. Back into midfield again, and we brought in 23-year-old Naya Kirby. He's worth between 30,000 and 325,000. So there's some worth to this lad. He's coming as a 3-star with the potential to be 4.5. Again, he's got plenty. I mean, his physicals are brilliant. So probably we're going to be playing him as the box-to-box in place of Ariti. Not quite sure yet, because we've got the £250,000 signing. You'll see him in a minute. So we have got some really good experience now in midfield and some competition for places. I think if I'm going to have any problems at all, it's going to be with keeping everybody happy. Not going to be easy, I don't think. So the next one again is in the middle of the park. This lad has come in as a 3-star with the potential to be 5. He's only 20 years old, Dominic Cornes. Again, look at his stats. Physicals are absolutely brilliant, but his mentals and technicals, he's a very, very well-rounded kid, this, but he's only 20, so he's got a lot, with the experienced players around him, he's got a lot of learning to do, but he's got a really good base to start from, so he will be getting plenty of game time as well. And if you notice, he's quite well-rounded, so he can actually play on both wings if I need him to. Both wings, attacking mid, centre mid, he can play defensive mid, so I think we've got a really good player there. I mean, all-round players who can do a lot of different roles. Really invaluable. Now, in the centre of defence, I have Whitmore and Davis, who I gave new contracts to because they did really well for us last season and they deserve new contracts. So they will be our centre-back pairing for the season coming in. I mean, again, another problem I've got with all these new faces is because I can't play the team that I played at the end of last season because a lot of them have either gone, contract run out, retired. So I'm going to have to blood quite a few new faces as the season starts, which is not ideal. We need them to hit the ground running and to gel really quickly. But centre-back pairing will be Whitmore and Davis. But we brought in 20-year-old Charlie Wiggett. He's coming as a 3.5-star with the potential to be 5. He's now valued at between 16 and 95,000. Again, a really good, solid backup for the future. I mean, he will take over from Whitmore and Davis. There's no doubt about that. I mean, he's got a 16 for determination. Look at his mentals. Absolutely brilliant. Physicals, absolutely brilliant. Technicals, need a little bit of work. I think that's always the case. With the young kids, they always need a little bit of work on the technicals, but we can do that on the training ground. He's only 20, before he comes a really good established centre-back, it's going to be like 4 or 5 years probably, so we've got plenty of time to work with him. So we're now down to our £250,000 record signing, and it's an Irish lad, 23-year-old Aaron Bulger. Now, I think I've taken a little bit of a risk with this lad. Again, the scouting, even though I've beefed my scouting up, it's still not that great. So I am having to just think on my feet a little bit. The scouts knock on the door, say, we found one for your boss here. He's a 3-star with the potential to be 5, looks amazing for the future, blah, 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 blah. Sometimes they come in and they're not as great as the scout said. This lad is one of those. He was actually, they brought him in 3.5 star with the potential to be 5. Looked absolutely amazing. When he actually arrived, I mean, he's actually only valued between 30 and 170,000. So, not quite sure. Maybe I've overpaid for him. Only time will tell. But he's a ball-winning midfield player, but he's also got really good teamwork and vision and work rate, determination. His physicals are okay. So I think he could do a really good job for us in the middle of the park, where he could play a defensive midfield if I want to, or he could actually play something a little bit more forward-thinking, but with that ball-winning skill there as well. So you'll be seeing a lot of Adam Bulger, unless he flops in the first 6 games, of course. But he's our £250,000, well, very nearly £250,000 signing. So just have a quick look at the squad planner. I think you can see now that, I'm not saying my transfer business is finished yet. It's a big squad now, very big squad. So there probably are going to be a few players who are going to be leaving. Otherwise, he's just going to sit on the bench and get disgruntled, which will upset the squad. But the squad planner is actually showing a fairly rounded team now. And as you can see, like up front, Charlie Brown has come in as a 3.5 star striker, where Charman is only a 3. So I think we've been. Can we improve on Charman? Well, it looks like we have. We shall see. Jimmy Gower, who came in at the end of last season, he's a 3.5 star as the attacking midfield player. Scott Pollock, who is the free kick specialist, is now only a 2.5. So some players, when you move up a division, will keep the star rating, maybe even improve. Some will drop it. So it's going to be a trial and error process. This now, I'm going to have to try this team, try the players in positions, and see how it goes. But I think you can see. Fairly well-rounded team this now, and it's a fairly well-rounded squad as well. So the Dynamics club atmosphere is very good. Managerial support is good. We need to get that up a little bit. Team cohesion is average. At the moment, obviously, that's to be expected. A lot of new players come in. Could be a little bit of a detriment that as the season kicks off, because a lot of these players have not played with each other, but we do need to get that team cohesion up. And we just look at the schedule. We played 4 friendlies. We've won them all against some fairly low-rate teams, but it's a nice little run out for the lads. First game of the season is against Knox County at home, and then we have an away trip to Woking. But that's how the beginning of the season looks. Okay, a couple more little things to show you before. I think we will try and squeeze a game in today. We'll try and squeeze that Knox County game in. Couple more things. So the media prediction for this season, I've been keeping an eye on this as I've been doing my transfer activity, and we've actually moved up and up and up and up. So media prediction is actually looking very encouraging. We're 11-2 to finish in 4th place in the National, which, to be quite honest, if you asked me, would I take that now? I actually would, I think. Playoffs, I don't like the playoffs. But first season in the National, if we got into the 4th position, I think I'd be as happy as Larry with that. Obviously, I want to do better than that, but that's a media prediction. We have one player in the media dream 11, and that's the goalkeeper, Isted. Made a good signing at goalkeeper. And if we scroll down the key players, so Aaron Bulger, the £250,000, but I need to stop calling him that. It's going to either make him big-headed or put a lot of pressure on his shoulders. But anyway, Adam Bulger. So he's in the key players section, along with Tino Quamina. He's the left wing-back, one of the young kids we signed from, I think it was Arsenal we signed him from. We don't have any others in there, so hopefully some of my signings will surprise the media and will, as the season goes on, will jump into that media dream 11. Having a quick look at the National League top player odds from Planet Football, we actually don't have anybody in there, which again, can we confound the critics? Can we get somebody in there come the end of the season? Charman, Charlie Brown, who knows? Well, then that would also mean them getting into the National League top score odds from Football Radar. And again, we don't have anybody in there. Weirdly, Spennymoor have Glenn Taylor in there. He's 12-5 favourite to be top goal scorer. If you remember, Spennymoor came up with us out of the playoffs. But neither Charlie Brown or Charman. I mean, it's a bizarre thing, this, isn't it? So, manager of the season last season, Spennymoor manager got it. I won 2 cups. He got it for winning through the playoffs. Charman scored 51, 53 goals last season. And he can't even find a place in the top goal scorer odds from Football Radar. Not sure. Maybe they know something I don't. Let's hope he speaks volumes with his boots and scores plenty of goals for us. Okay, so you're all nicely caught up now. All the summer transfer business, all the behind the scenes shenanigans that have been going on. And I think it's about time we had a look to see whether this bunch of new players and established players can actually perform as a team. Let's go and get in the dugout and watch us against Notts County, shall we? Okay, first game of the season in the National League. And the team for today is new goalkeeper Isted, back four of Quamina, Whitmore, Davis and Aina. Quamina has come in, Cranston left, and I think, was it Conlon, the other wing back we had, they both left. So this is one of the kids that came in from Arsenal, I think it was. 5-star potential, got high hopes for him. We've got 2 new players in the middle, Mundell and Dixon Bonner. Casada Thorne is playing as a winger today, with Tanner as the inverted winger on the other side. Pollock is the advanced playmaker with Sharman up front. I'm trying to keep as many of last season's players in the team just to try and give us a little bit of continuity, and then we can break the new players in, hopefully quite gently. So a highlight from the kickoff, and it's Notts County with the ball. Very, very nicely won by Tanner, showing all of his experience there, which is just what we wanted. Sharman, can he? Sharman is off and running. It's taken him 30 seconds of the new season, and Sharman has put the ball in the back of the net, and we're 1-0 up. Nice little dinked ball over from Pollock. Sharman took it on his chest, dropped it down, slid it into the bottom corner. Lovely. 1-0. Right, we just need to keep it tight at the back. I mean, we've got 2 very experienced centre-backs there. Aina, I've played Aina today instead of the new lad that I brought in. But just to try and give us a little bit of stability at the back. 20 minutes in and we're winning 1-0, which is very, very nice indeed. And we've got a throw-in. Ball inside. No, we've lost that. Dixon Bonner picks it up. Dixon Bonner, what's he going to do with this? It's a bit of a wild shot, that one. So we're looking at the home attendance, 2,700 in today. Although Notts County have brought quite a few in with them. But then if you look at the stand there, there's a lot more in there than there was last season. So the ground is just under half full, which is much better. This is the important thing though, we need to hit the ground running, we need to get the results, get the points on the board, and I'm sure as the season goes on in a higher league and we're seeing better quality teams as well, I mean that's important, you know, that's going to attract fans, isn't it, seeing better quality teams, better quality players. I mean there will be some ex-Sky Bet League 2 teams in here that got relegated, so that's more attractive for the fans. Okay, good first half performance. Keep it up. Okay, a couple of subs. I'm going to bring Wiggett on for Aina. Wiggett is not a right back really, but at this level with only 5 subs, I haven't got a right wing back on the bench. So Wiggett's going to come in. And we're going to bring Cornes in, I think, for Mundell. Just give us a little bit more legs in midfield. And let's bob it on another 10 minutes. Not an awful lot happening after that substitution. So we're now going to drop the passing directness, drop the tempo, and we're going to go time wasting. Just see if we can hold on to this lead. 13 shots, 3 on target, XG of 1.61. Our XG's twice what Knox County is. Casada Thorne has picked up an injury. That's not ideal. Okay, we'll bring on then, we'll bring on Kirby and we'll drop a DM in just to try and see this game out. That's a very, very nice win, that. First game of the season, 1-0, and we're off and running. And guess who scored the goal? Yes, Sharman. Well, it's been a fun-packed episode. I think you'll agree, fun-packed. Lots of transfers, lots of ins and outs, lots of restructuring, and our first game of the season, and our first win of the season, and our first goal of the season for Charman up front. Who else would it be? But we have Charlie Brown waiting in the wings. Stay tuned.